guys, welcome back to Under the Radar Books. I'm Brittany, and today I want to do a little book haul. I've picked up some really awesome titles recently, and I just want to share them with you guys. So the first one that I have to show is one that might have the coolest cover I've seen in a long time, and that is We Show What We Have Learned in Other Stories by Claire Beams. And that is super cool. And I honestly don't even know what this is about. All I know is that it's a magical realism story collection, and with a cover like that, I needed to have it. The literary, historical, and fantastic collide in these wise and exquisitely unsettling stories. From assemblies in school auditoriums to the murky waters of a Depression-era health resort, Beam's landscapes are tinged with otherworldliness, and her characters' desires stretch the limits of reality. That sounds totally up my alley and is super brilliant. It's a pretty short read, and I'm really excited to get to it. I think I'll pick it up very shortly. Next is Cold Earth by Sarah Moss, and I love this edition. I tracked it down secondhand. It's got blue pages, which I'm obsessed with colored pages. I don't know why, but I just am. And this sounds so good. It says a team of 6 archaeologists assemble at the beginning of the Arctic summer to unearth traces of a lost Viking settlement in Greenland. While they settle in, camping between the ruined farmstead and the burnt-out chapel, there's news of an epidemic back home, and their communications with the outside world fall away. Facing a Greenland winter for which they are hopelessly ill-equipped, knowing that their missives may never reach their loved ones, Nina, Ruth, Katrina, Jim, Ben, and Yanni write their final letters home. In this exceptional and haunting first novel, Moss weaves a rich tapestry of personal narratives, history, and ghost stories. It's compelling as a thriller and also a highly sophisticated novel of ideas. So that sounds absolutely fantastic. Next up is a book, I don't even remember how I found this, I just stumbled across it, but it's In a Dark Wood by Amanda Craig. It has a really cool cover. Benedict Hunter is a failure, a divorced father and an unemployed actor sunk in self-pity. His life takes a new direction when he finds a book of his dead mother's fairy tales in which real people and events from a tragic past seem to be depicted. Hunter embarks on a bizarre and darkly comic quest which takes him and his small son Cosmo to America, to the heart of parenthood, manic depression, fairy tales, and love. So, you know how much I love fairy tales. This sounds super interesting, right up my street, so I couldn't resist. Next up is a book that's been on my wish list for a really long time, and I finally found it for a really good price, and that is The Kappa Child by Hiromi Goto. This follows 3 Japanese-Canadian sisters who live on a farm, and all of their struggles and difficulties in trying to keep that farm afloat. But it also weaves in Japanese mythology and an ancient creature called the Kappa Child, who blesses those who can imagine with its magic. So this sounds really good. I have heard quite a bit about this author, and I know that they have quite a big backlist, so I'm excited to give this one a try and see if some of their other works are things I would also like to pick up. Next is a book I heard about on Erica's channel from Ericable, and I will link her channel down below. And this is one that she recently read, and it's another one that has some fairy tale aspects to it, and that is Irlanda by Espedo Ferrier, and this has been translated by Toshia Kamai. And this follows a young woman whose sister dies, and then she's sent to live with her mother and take care of her young cousins, and it just talks about how it is a twisted fairy tale where Natalia talks to her doll, she buries dead turtles, fears goblins, and it just sounds really interesting, and I know that Erica really liked it, and we have very similar taste in books, so I had to grab this one. It's really short, so I will hopefully get to it very soon. Next is a book that I stumbled across on Book Depository when I was looking at new horror releases, and that is In the Skin of a Monster by Catherine Barker. And this is a YA horror book, and it is an Australian author. And it says, caught in a dreamscape, mistaken for a killer, will Alice find a way home? 3 years ago, Alice's identical twin sister took a gun to school and killed 7 innocent kids. Now Alice wears the face of a monster. It's a small town and no one can stand to even look at her. But when Alice encounters her sister on a deserted highway, bad is just the beginning. Alice soon finds herself trapped in a dangerous new reality, a broken world that's filled with nightmares of everyone in the community. Here, with old secrets finally coming together, Alice is forced to confront the true impact of everything that happened that day in the schoolyard, including her hidden connection to the boy who hates her most. So this sounds very hard-hitting, definitely terrifying, and I will be picking up very soon. The last book in my haul is one I think is going to be a little bit difficult to read because of the subject matter, but I have heard pretty good things about it, and I know that sometimes controversial books like this that really make us think are ones that make the biggest impact, so it was definitely one that I wanted to get to, and I wanted to get this cover specifically, even though I believe it's out of print, but that is Lamb by Bonnie Nadzim, and it says, Tommy is 11, David Lamb is 54. There's nothing wrong with that, is there? So as you can see, this follows a Lolita kind of pattern where there's a very young girl who falls in love with an older man, or vice versa, and it follows their storyline, and it just sounds very intriguing and, like I said, hard-hitting, and I think this is going to be one that really makes me think, and I will get back to you guys on what I think of it. So those are the books that I've gotten recently. Let me know if you guys have read any of them, or if you want to add them to your TBR. I'd love to hear in the comments down below, and I hope you're having a great week. Until next time, happy reading, guys!